Hello, junior mechanical engineering consultants. Do you feel like a burden? Me too. Let's talk about it. When I started in industry, I really felt like a burden. I really felt like everything that I was doing was the wrong thing or done in a wrong way. And I was wasting so many people's time and frustrating so many people. And I was such a big risk to the company. Like if I were to talk to clients, oh my word, I was so, I don't even want to think about it. I felt like such a burden. And I've been feeling like a burden actually for quite a while. It's been, it has to do with imposter syndrome as well. As I was working on my online course last few months, I've been thinking about like how do junior engineers feel? Because the course is made for junior engineers to try to help them onboard into the consulting industry. And I've reminisced on the journey that I've gone through and how I've really felt like a burden. And in thinking about these things for the past few months, I found that there's sort of three facets to feeling like a burden. And I want to discuss them in this video, and I want to get to a point where I sort of debunk the feeling. The first point is that you feel like a burden on the business side, right? So going from studying into working, you now know that you are working as a resource in a business to provide value to clients for which they pay, right? But as a junior, you feel like the value that you provide is not something worth paying for. Or maybe you do, and your senior tells you, listen, you've missed so many steps that you don't go into enough depth, or you go into too much depth, or you're condescending, or you it's just rough edges, right? Everything that you do is like it's rough and it's risky, right? So there's some inherent risk to the business for employing you as a junior. Also, you become aware that the agents, the consultants for the firm are the marketers, right? The work that you provide, the client experience that they get, that all is marketing. You give a client a feeling and they talk about that feeling and they maybe come back, maybe they refer some other people into the business, or maybe they don't come back. Maybe they don't refer other people. Maybe they tell people don't go there because of how they experienced you. And as a junior, it feels like when I was a junior, it felt like I caused so many clients. Not really that I did. I mean, there's nothing on the books, but it feels like that, right? I had to really convince myself that I didn't by looking at the books because it felt like the value that I was providing was so wrong. It was misaligned. It was scattered. It wasn't precise. I felt like such a risk to the business. I felt like them paying me the amount that they're paying me to just struggle is it's not good for business. I'm not good for business. And with every project that I did, with every report that I did, I had to go and churn it with the senior. I had to go ask the senior, listen, what is the method that I'm supposed to be using? What method is used in the company? And how do you use the method in the company? What standards do you guys refer to constantly? And then learn the standards and then misunderstand the standard and then have to go back to the senior and ask about the standard and ask about sources and try to get the sources right and the referencing right and the document right and maybe the phraseology of my paragraph correct. And I'm spending so much time talking to the senior. I'm spending so much time taking the senior out of their work for which they are perfectly situated, right? They are the most valuable marketers. They are the most valuable deliverable providers in the company. They are what the company builds on. They are what brings money into the company. And I'm taking their time on basics. I'm such a burden. I felt like such a burden. So why are they making the effort that they're making? Why spend the time? Why even employ me? Why even go through the effort of interviewing me and having me pitch myself and sell myself and then getting to working and failing, being an imposter, feeling like an imposter? Why? That's where investment comes in, right? When you invest your money, you don't invest it so that tomorrow you can get 100% return. You invest it and you wait a while. You wait for time to pass. You wait for things to mature. The company is investing in juniors. They spend time investing in juniors. And that's why I made the course. I want to tell juniors, listen, yes, you are new. Yes, you are all potential and no direction, but this is the direction that you can go in. Maybe there's some things that people have not told you. Maybe it's sort of implied, but maybe you need them said explicitly. In my course, I try to do that. I try to say things explicitly, and I try to make it as broadly applicable in industry as possible, so that your company will still need to onboard you and you'll still need to have a mentor, and it's still going to be company specific what you are onboarded onto. But maybe maybe there are some things fewer that the senior will have to say to you because of the course that you took. The link is in the description. You can put your name on the wait list for when I launch it, or you can enroll now and book your seat. I'm going to have like 15 available, and it's launching in mid-May. There's one thing I opened the conversation on LinkedIn. I really wanted to hear what others had to say about feeling like a burden. And there's actually an excerpt that I want to read to you that I just thought was the most, it opened my eyes, and it really made me see in the sense of business strategy. The title of senior is not earned by the years of experience alone. It includes the years of experience and technical expertise, but the qualifying characteristic between a senior and an intermediate is the guidance potential of the individual. If you can guide a junior through their onboarding, integrate them successfully into the business, and then get them to be an independent contributor, then you can be promoted to the senior. Isn't that wonderful? The fact that the junior is in the company, and because the senior will have to spend time on the junior, that makes it possible for them to be promoted into a position of senior. Okay? So you're not wasting the senior's time. You are spending the senior's time wisely. Right? Don't try to get all of their time spent on you. Maybe it's a 30%, 70% balance. But don't feel like asking for the 30% is wrong. It's actually right. It's what they're there for. So now getting back to the business side of things, the investment side of things. You as a junior, you're all potential. You are unmolded potential. The return on investment for juniors is about 1 to 2 years. Then you will be an independent contributor to the point where you can provide value to clients independently. You become an intermediate. You become a source of value that can be sold and that can be trusted. And if you are onboarded, if you go through your journey as a junior with passion, with determination to learn, to keep learning, to keep changing, to keep altering, to keep at it, obviously you're going to be molded, you're going to be formed into exactly what this company needs. That is the key. A company invests in juniors because they want people molded into specifically what would be the best resource for this company. The risk is not having you on the team. The risk is that when you are molded, you leave the team and you take all that excellence that's been built into you as your basic way of doing things, and you go and improve another a competing company. And then you become a risk. The impact that you would have in that company matches the impact that this company has. Money funnels away from this company to that company when you leave. That is the risk that the business is taking. Not having you join them, not investing in you, not struggling with you through your reports, through your communication, through your storytelling, through your technical onboarding, through your methodologies. That's an investment. Junior, be encouraged. You are not an imposter. You are not a burden. You are a little baby that needs molding, that needs teaching the ways of the company that you're in. because you care enough to feel like an imposter, to feel like a burden. You are not an imposter or a burden. Imposters are there to disrupt. You're not there disrupting. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're learning. You are being molded. Being molded isn't nice. It hurts. It really hurts. Your ego, it hurts what you feel, what you find valuable. You come to the table with this wonderful gift of, this is what I brought. And they tell you, no, that's not good enough. You need to change it. You need to change it in this way. And then next time that you bring it, you've changed it in that way and it becomes more valuable, becomes more impactful, becomes more excellent. You did not act as an imposter by bringing the same stuff to the table without any changes. You acted like a contributor, being molded. These are the kinds of things that I want to impart into juniors. And in my course, I really tried to bring this point across. One of the things that I really tried to do in the course as well is to make it as practical as possible. All right, so it's not just someone talking to you, it's you get to take something and do something with it. We get to the practical point now. If you are struggling with a project, with a point in a project, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, maybe you've got the methodology given to you and you're supposed to go through step by step and you're stuck on a step. But you don't know how to go to the senior to ask them, I'm stuck with this. I don't know how to change. What am I supposed to do? The question that you're asking is not phrased right. One of the things that needs to happen for a mechanical engineer or any engineer is that you need to be able to state problems, right? Because a client comes to a business and they say, I want something done. They don't know. They don't have any depth into their scope, into their requirements. You need to sort of provide them through questioning and through guiding them through what their thoughts are to be able to pin down the requirements. That's a skill. And that's something that you can start applying to yourself first as a junior. What is the problem that I have? State the problem that you have. And if you can't state the problem that you have, what is the methodology that I am in? I'm fine here, I'm fine here, I'm not fine here. This is where I'm struggling. And then you come up with 3 possible ways forward. Maybe I can try A, maybe I can try B, maybe I can try C. I don't know which one is the right one. I don't know, but each of them have a risk associated to it. Each of them have an impact that's going to happen. Maybe each of them has some steps to them. Each of them has like a trade-off. You need to look at these parameters and not those parameters. You can draw those kinds of things up, and then you can go to the senior and say, listen, senior, I know that I'm in this method. These are the steps of the method. I'm struggling with this big step here. I don't really know what my problem is, but I've got 2 or 3 solutions that I think this is sort of how I'm thinking about it. And then the senior can tell you, oh yeah, no, you're actually exactly on the right course. What you're struggling with, I can see it's just this small thing. And go ahead with whichever option you think is best. Maybe you can have a conversation about the options. Or your senior tells you, no, you need to do option D, completely different. You've gone down a wrong rabbit hole somewhere earlier in the methodology. Just go back and see what are the impacts and the risks that you maybe didn't consider that made this trajectory to option number D the right way to go forward. That way you're learning. Make notes of this. Next time, you just follow that methodology. You don't even have to go through this way. Maybe you could just have these 3 as options of why it's not viable, or maybe in a different scenario, these become viable options. But you've got it noted down. And you know what else you didn't do? You didn't upward delegate your work. You went with the problem to a mentor. They guided you through how to get to an answer. And now you go with that and you go and execute. You're not asking them to redo the task that you were given, because you're coming to the table with all the thought having been done. You're coming to the table guiding the senior how to guide you to provide value. And now you have sort of convinced yourself that you're not a burden, right? That's a practical way that you can do things. All right. So now you know you're not a burden. You're an investment. And you're not an imposter. You're a contributor. Junior, be encouraged. Get to work. Get focused. And try to enjoy this onboarding. It happens once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. Oh my word. I've got an online course. Again, it's in the link in the description below. I've got 15 places open. Enroll now if you want to join me. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.